council meeting, and I'd like to welcome everybody here to start with and call for any apologies, please. Councillor Johnson, Councillor Williams. We have a mover. Councillor Mincher, seconded Councillor Kirk. I'd like to move straight onto the agenda, and we'll be going to agenda item number 1, which is a presentation by Enterprise Great Lake Taupo, 6-monthly report to June 2011 by Mrs. Sue de Beverly at the back of the room there. If you welcome Sue, and to Fritz Volk, our very esteemed manager. So I will hand over to you, Fritz. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll make this as short and swift as we can, and I was going to go leading on from our last presentation here, I guess, is what are we about? And we're about attracting profit-making enterprises that employ people to the Lake Taupo region. And as per my last presentation, I want to run this in 2 parts, one for the small and medium business that we talked about earlier, and one about the larger business. So the first part of the presentation is pretty much what we've done in the last 8 months. And I know this is for my last presentation that I've presented those numbers here, which is around about that 31.9% of the working population are employed by around about 97% of all the enterprises in around New Zealand, and this district is not a hell of a lot different. So what I want to talk about in the first part of the discussion here is the things that we've implemented in the last 9 months of working for these smaller and medium enterprises here in this district. And the main thing that we focused on is getting some assistance for these businesses on the ground. Our main one was putting Business Mentors New Zealand as a local agency in place here. We've just signed the contract late June, so now we've got our own Business Mentors New Zealand agency here in Taupo, which means we have got assistance for people that come in, haven't got a lot of money. So for $100, you can be signed up for a mentor for 2 years, and we've increased our mentors in Taupo from 3 to currently 12. Of which 8 have undergone training with Business Mentors New Zealand. They're all volunteers from the region, and there's some people like Rex Mincher, who's here today. There's Vicky Becker, Mike Reardon. So we have some very capable business who are very believing in this district, who are now helping businesses in this district in growing their business and helping them succeed. So that's a real milestone for us. We're very happy to have signed that. It took us almost a year to sign this up. And what it meant in the past, people or businesses had to go and sign up in Rotorua and be looked after from there. This is now all in-house. In fact, in the first months we've been looking after business here, we've had more business sign-ups here than all of Rotorua. So the other one we've also implemented and finally got going is the pay marketing reporting and the New Zealand Institute of Economic Research. So there are some reporting coming out in which we have real numbers, real data. We've only got about 4 or 5 months under our belt now. We'll need to look at those on a longer term. We're still waiting to get 3 years back data, but that's part of the reporting and the research data information that will give us some real numbers and data of what's happening in this town rather than guesswork. Establishing networks, we've re-signed up with EDANS, Economic Development Agency of New Zealand. We've aligned ourselves actually with Rotorua, or the Bay of Plenty, and we are under the umbrella there, so we're going to come under Tauranga, Rotorua and Taupo, and we're actively involved working with them. We've got very good relations now with Trade and Enterprise. In fact, Chris Morkia is coming up this Friday for the Business Awards. He'll be our guest at the awards. And we're working quite closely with the Rugby World Cup, the Business World Cup there. There's a notable thing that's happening at the Clean Energy Centre is the Clean Energy Centre Expo, which is going to happen on the 18th of October. There's already many confirmed attendances coming from around the world who will be attending in this region as part of the Rugby World Cup business club. Moving on from there is industry events is something we've been really focusing on. We wanted to put in after the fold of the last NZT programs where people could go and have lots of business mentoring courses here in town. These courses have all stopped pretty much, so we jumped in that gap and we literally just got involved with local businesses and also out-of-town business who run seminars and events. And here's a bit of a list of events that we've run in the first, pretty much starting in February when we really got going. We had around about 504 total attendance. Most of those courses are free. There's a couple of specialist ones which were doing business in China were $179. But most of these courses we put on were either run through cooperating with local business or out-of-town business who will bring expertise to this town. And this is all aimed at small and medium businesses that normally cannot afford or don't have the sort of money to help their businesses grow. Also, the notable thing, there's been one run in Mangakino, and we've had one run in Turangi. We're continuing to bring those events further out, not just in Taupo. One thing I also want to just draw a bit of attention to, and this has been a school cash flow evening that's just starting up now. We want to go, and are probably just about to apply to some funding to bring a game called Cash Flow. And we wanted to pit the young entrepreneurs who are coming out of schools, pit them against the business community here in Taupo. So that's something we're working on at the moment. Going on from there, then just have a quick word on Turangi and Mangakino. I'm based in Turangi sort of every third Monday of every month, and I attend all the Turangi-Tongariro Promotional Association meetings down there, and also the After 5 meetings. And I have to say there's been a real turnaround. Like when I first got, yelled at's probably a bit of a hard word, but there's been a lot of misgivings down there that not enough time was being spent down there, and there's been a real turnaround. In fact, at the last meeting they had very good things to say about the cooperation we got with council, and all we've done, we've got engaged with the community there, found out the people that are doing things, and connected those people with the right people in council or in the private sector to get things off the ground, and it's been very well received. You can see we've already helped them putting the official logos into place there, the Turangi After 5 there. We've sort of put that up for them. Going on to Mangakino, we're working there with the old tourism group that was called, and they've, after a couple of discussions there, they've actually totally reformed. They've now renamed themselves Enterprise Mangakino, have adopted the logos down there. They're off to a running start. Peter Cool is their new chair. He's just been elected down there as a very young, enterprising man who also owns the paddle steamer. And he's been doing a great deal of work. In fact, we just had a meeting there last Wednesday, and so probably very pleasing to report this. I don't know if you've already talked about this, Kirsty, but there's an initiative coming out of the Department of Internal Affairs who's identified 5 communities that they want to work with, and there's a $1.5 million available to work with those 5 communities. And Mangakino is one of those communities. So the first meeting was held last Wednesday. And what now has to happen, it has to go out to community consultation down there, which is going to happen in the next 2 weeks. And if the community decides to sign up with this program, not only will they be given some actual money to run things that the community thinks they will need, they will also be given some staffing and also some human resource assistance to get those projects off the ground and get them running through. And the thing that's exciting is that this program, it's brand new, it's a pilot program for them, may be rolled out to other communities, and Turangi, I think, is further down the list, looking also at possibly being part of this program, is that it's totally community driven. So there's no criteria on this money at all. It's up to the community to find out what they want to do down there and how to make it happen, and then there'll be assistance from DIA in this matter. So this is pretty much the main things we've focused on in the last 8 months. As we said earlier, is about 97% of businesses run about 39% of the GDP there, and we wanted to get programs in place that can now sustain themselves. So I've also got a very able assistant, Anne Battersby, who's now working with me, running a lot of these programs. She's actually running the Business Mentor program. So that's all well set up, and we're very pleased with the way this is going.